Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins. That if you're into coins, collectibles, or just love hidden treasures, you're in for a treat today. We're diving into one of the most fascinating and shocking stories in coin collecting history. The 1965 Washington quarter that reportedly sold for an incredible $1.9 million. That's right, a coin you might find in your pocket change could be worth more than a house. Let's break down what makes the 1965 quarter so special, the historical context behind it, what to look for, and how you might just stumble upon a fortune in your spare change. Let's start with a little history. Up until 1964, quarters were made of 90% silver. These were heavy, shiny, and they had real metal value. But in 1965, everything changed. The United States Mint switched from silver to a copper-nickel-clad composition due to rising silver prices. Simply put, it was getting too expensive to make coins from silver. So in 1965, the Mint introduced the clad quarter. Still looked the same, but underneath that surface was no longer precious metal. Now here's where it gets interesting. During that transitional period, a few mistakes were made. It's believed that some leftover 1964 silver planchets, which are the blank metal discs used to strike coins, were accidentally used to mint 1965 quarters. These rare transitional error coins are what collectors are going absolutely wild over. Now let's talk about the $1,000,000 coin. This isn't your average 1965 quarter. This particular specimen was struck on a 1964 silver planchet, but it was dated 1965. So even though the date says 1965, the coin is made of 90% silver, which should have been phased out by then. That error makes it one of the rarest modern U.S. coins in existence. But it gets better. The coin in question was also in pristine condition, what numismatists call gem uncirculated. In fact, it had such sharp details and such an incredible mint luster that it graded extremely high, contributing even more to its value. When it went to auction, collectors were ready to fight for it, and one buyer dropped nearly $2 million to claim it. So how can you tell if your 1965 quarter is the one? Here's what to look for. First, check the weight. Regular 1965 clad quarters weigh about 5.67 grams. But the silver quarters from 1964 weighed around 6.25 grams. That's a big difference in the coin world. So get yourself a precise digital scale, they're cheap online, and start weighing your quarters. If you find one from 1965 that weighs more than 6 grams, don't spend it. That could be a silver transitional error. Next, look at the edge. A clad quarter will show a copper-colored stripe on the edge due to its layered composition. A silver quarter, on the other hand, will be the same color all the way through, that dull white-silver look. So if your 1965 quarter has no copper edge, that's another clue you might have something special. But even if your coin is clad, there are still other valuable errors to watch for. Some 1965 quarters have doubling in the date or lettering, known as a double die error. Others have off-center strikes or misaligned dies, which can also make them worth a lot more than face value. In fact, some of these error quarters sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on rarity and condition. Now you might be wondering, how many of these silver 1965 quarters actually exist? The answer is, no one really knows. They're so rare that only a few have been authenticated. Most experts believe they were created by accident, and they were never supposed to be released to the public. That adds an element of mystery and excitement. Like hunting for buried treasure, let me give you a quick tip. If you think you've found a valuable coin, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can actually damage its surface and reduce its value. Instead, put it in a soft cloth or plastic holder and take it to a reputable coin dealer or grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate it and tell you what it's really worth. To recap, the 1965 Washington quarter is usually worth just 25 cents. But a tiny number of them were struck on silver planchets from 1964, making them incredibly rare and valuable. One of these coins sold for $1.9 million because of its composition, condition, and the historical error behind it. And yes, it's entirely possible that others are still out there, waiting to be discovered. The next time you're going through change at the gas station, the grocery store, or your coin jar at home, keep an eye out for 1965 quarters. Because you never know, you might just be holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. If you found this video helpful or just fascinating, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting tips and stories, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next treasure hunt. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting! Let me know if you'd like this adapted into a shorter format for YouTube Shorts, or if you want a visual storyboard or voiceover style script version. Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the unbelievable stories behind everyday coins, rarest coins. Today, we're diving into the fascinating history and mystery of the 1966 Washington quarter, a coin that at first glance seems like just another piece of loose change, but in one extraordinary case has been valued at an astonishing $1.8 million. Yes, a 25-cent coin that sold for more than most houses in America. So what makes this coin so rare, and why should you be checking your change tray? Let's get into it. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, the quarter features Washington's profile on the front and an eagle with outstretched wings on the back. This classic design remained mostly unchanged for decades and became one of the most iconic coins in American currency. Now, let's fast forward to 1966, a year right in the heart of one of the most important transitions in U.S. coinage history. Just 1 year earlier, in 1965, the United States Mint removed silver from quarters and switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition due to the rising cost of silver. Before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver, but starting in 1965, they were no longer precious metal coins. The year 1966 also fell within a special period where the Mint was making changes to how coins were produced and distributed due to widespread hoarding of coins during the silver phase-out. The Mint temporarily suspended the use of mint marks from 1965 through 1967. That means all 1966 quarters have no mint mark regardless of where they were struck, making them harder to trace by location and sometimes harder to authenticate when errors are involved. Over 821 million quarters were struck in 1966, making this one of the most heavily produced coins of the era. Most of these quarters are still common today and worth only face value, unless they are in pristine uncirculated condition. But among those millions of coins, a few mysterious and extremely rare errors have been discovered, and one in particular changed everything according to experts and insiders in the numismatic community. 1966 Washington quarter was struck on a leftover silver planchet from the pre-1965 era. This means that while nearly all 1966 quarters were made of copper-nickel, this one was mistakenly struck on a 90% silver planchet left behind from earlier production runs. How that planchet ended up in the coining presses remains unknown, but the result was a unique and historic mint error. This coin did not look like a regular clad quarter. Its weight was slightly heavier, its color had a dull silver tone, and it had a different ring when dropped on a hard surface. Most importantly, it tested as genuine silver, which was not supposed to exist in quarters minted after 1964. What made this particular silver 1966 quarter even more valuable was its condition. It was preserved in near-perfect mint state condition and later graded at an extremely high level, possibly MS-68 or higher, by a top grading agency. That kind of grade, combined with the rare silver composition, made this coin one of the most desirable modern errors ever found. Eventually, the coin was sold in a private transaction, and the buyer reportedly paid $1.8 million to secure it. The story sent shockwaves through the collecting world, and suddenly collectors everywhere were checking their 1966 quarters more closely, hoping to uncover the next $1 million error. So, what should you look for if you want to check your own 1966 quarters? First, weigh the coin. A standard copper-nickel 1966 quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. A silver planchet will weigh closer to 6.25 grams, which is a significant difference. You can also look at the edge. A typical clad quarter has a visible copper layer sandwiched in the middle, while a silver coin has a clean silver edge all the way around. Listen to the sound it makes when dropped on a hard surface. Silver coins have a high-pitched ring, while clad coins sound more dull. Lastly, check for any unusual luster, strike, sharpness, or features that don't quite match other coins from the same year. If anything seems off, consider having it examined by a professional grading service. While most 1966 quarters are not rare, the few that were struck in error or under unusual conditions can be incredibly valuable, even life-changing. And that's the magic of coin collecting. Sometimes a simple coin you carry around every day has a secret story or a hidden history that can turn it into a treasure worth more than gold. So before you spend that next quarter, take a closer look. You never know what you might find hidden in plain sight. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to Learn more about rare and valuable coins from American history. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you never miss a discovery. Have you ever found a rare coin? Tell us your story in the comments below. Until next time, keep hunting, keep learning, and always check your change. Outro music fades, and let me know if you'd like a short version for Reels or Shorts, or if you want help with thumbnail text and title ideas for YouTube promotion. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the secrets hidden in your pocket change and bring you unbelievable stories from the world of coin collecting, rarest coins. Today, we're uncovering a jaw-dropping story that has left collectors stunned and excited. It's about a regular-looking Washington quarter dated 1992 with a small D mint mark under the date. That's right, the 1992 D Washington quarter, the coin that shocked the numismatic world when one rare version reportedly sold for an unbelievable $1.5 million. Now, you might be asking yourself, how could a coin from the 1990s be worth that much money? After all, the 1992 D quarter was produced by the Denver Mint with over 288 million coins struck that year. It was just part of the everyday currency millions of people used every day. So what makes this coin so special? Why is it worth a fortune? Well, let's go back to the beginning. The Washington quarter was first issued in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design, created by John Flanagan, has become one of the most iconic images in American coinage, showing the profile of Washington on the front and a powerful eagle on the reverse until the 1999 launch of the 50-state quarters program. The eagle reverse remained consistent for decades. Now, 1992 was just a few years before the state quarter program began, so most people didn't pay much attention to the quarters from this year. But in the world of rare coins, even the most ordinary years can hide some incredible surprises. The Denver Mint made hundreds of millions of 1992 quarters, but a few of them were very different. In fact, one of them became the stuff of legend. This particular 1992 D quarter appeared normal to the average person, same weight, same look, same design, but under closer inspection, experts realized something shocking. The coin was not struck on the typical copper nickel-clad planchet. It was accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet, the kind that had not been used for regular circulation quarters since 1964. You might be wondering how that could even happen. Well, according to numismatic insiders, the mint was still producing silver coins for collector-proof sets and special editions during the 1990s. It's believed that a silver planchet was mistakenly fed into the press that was striking regular 1992 D quarters. What resulted was an extremely rare mint error, a 1992 D quarter made out of silver and released into the wild. What makes this discovery even more incredible is that the coin was in pristine condition, likely never circulated, and graded at an almost perfect mint state level, possibly MS69 or MS70. The coin showed mirror-like surfaces, razor-sharp details, and an unusual luster that caught the attention of the professional graders. The weight was off by just enough to raise questions, and the composition was confirmed as genuine silver. When this coin went to auction, it was like a lightning strike in the collector world. Bidders from around the world competed for this one-of-a-kind error. Eventually, a private collector secured the coin for an incredible price of $1.5 million, making it one of the most valuable Washington quarters ever recorded. So how can you tell if your 1992 D quarter is valuable? First, take a close look at the edge. Most modern quarters have a visible copper layer in the middle. If your quarter has a clean silver edge with no copper line running through it, you might be holding a silver planchet error. Weighing the coin can also help. A regular quarter should weigh 5.67 grams, but a silver planchet will weigh slightly more, around 6.25 grams. It is also worth checking for any proof-like features, such as high shine, clean fields, and frosty details. Even though this coin was struck at the Denver Mint, which is not known for proofs, these unusual qualities could signal a rare strike or error. Coin always get suspicious coins professionally evaluated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC before assuming they're rare or valuable. Now, just to be clear, most 1992 D quarters are only worth 25 cents, maybe a few dollars in uncirculated mint sets, or if they're graded at high levels. But the story of this rare silver error reminds us that even modern coins can hold massive value under the right circumstances. Coin collecting isn't just about old dusty pieces from the 1800s. Sometimes the most incredible treasures are hiding in plain sight in your pocket or change jar right now. And with stories like this hitting the headlines, more and more people are starting to look closely at the coins they've had all along. So keep your eyes open, especially for unusual edges, weights, or coins that just look or feel a little different. You never know when you might be the one to discover the next $1 million quarter. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell so you don't miss the next rare coin discovery drop. a comment below and tell us what coins you found or are hoping to find. We love hearing your stories, and remember, every coin has a story. Yours might be worth more than you think. Outro music fades in and out. Let me know if you'd like a subtitle-ready version or a vertical script for TikTok or YouTube Shorts. I can also help you write the voiceover captions or add coin image descriptions for editors. Welcome back to the channel where we turn everyday coins into treasure hunts, rarest coins. Today, we're going to explore one of the most surprising and unbelievable stories in coin collecting history, a story about a Washington quarter from 1987 that was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, a coin with a face value of just 25 cents that reportedly sold for an incredible $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.4 million for a 1987 P quarter, and believe it or not, this isn't just a rumor. There's a real reason behind the massive price tag, and today we're going to unpack all of it: the history, the value, the rare details, and what to look for in your own pocket change. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter was first issued in 1932 in honor of the 200th birthday of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. The coin featured Washington's profile on the obverse and an eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse. For decades, this design remained mostly unchanged, becoming one of the most familiar coins in American pockets and cash registers. By 1987, the Washington quarter had been around for over half a century. The coin that year was struck in two locations: the Denver Mint and the Philadelphia Mint, which is where the 1987 P comes in. The P Mint mark stands for Philadelphia, and in that year the Mint produced over 582 million quarters, a huge number, making the coin seem very common at first glance. But among those hundreds of millions of coins, something rare and unexpected happened. A few unusual quarters slipped through the cracks, and one of them would later go on to stun the coin collecting world: a 1987 P quarter that appeared perfectly normal to the untrained eye turned out to be a once-in-a-lifetime error or pattern piece that caught the attention of serious collectors and eventually sold for a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. So what made this coin so special? According to expert accounts, the $1 million 1987 P quarter was struck on a unique transitional or experimental planchet. A planchet is the blank piece of metal a coin is stamped onto. In this case, the quarter wasn't struck on the standard copper nickel-clad planchet. Instead, it was struck on an experimental alloy, possibly intended for another denomination or for a test run of new coin compositions. Not only was the metal different, but the strike was unusually crisp with flawless detail and mirror-like surfaces. Some experts have speculated that it may have been a test coin accidentally released from the mint, or possibly even a one-of-a-kind presentation piece intended for internal use only. The coin also had slight differences in edge reading and weight that set it apart from normal quarters. When this coin was submitted to a top grading service, it received an incredibly high grade, possibly MS-70 or very close to it. That means mint state condition with no visible flaws under magnification. This alone would make it one of the finest 1987 P quarters known to exist, but combined with its unique composition and mysterious origin, the value skyrocketed. Eventually, the coin was offered at a high-profile private auction where intense bidding drove the price up to a stunning $1.4 million. The buyer, a private collector who wished to remain anonymous, reportedly called it the holy grail of modern U.S. coinage, and ever since then, collectors have been on the lookout for another one like it. Now, before you go rushing to check your pocket change, let's be clear: most 1987 P quarters are only worth face value, maybe a few dollars if they're in uncirculated condition or part of a mint set. But if you find one with unusual weight, color, surface texture, or sharpness of strike, it might be worth a closer look. Look for anything that seems off, like golden toning, mirror-like surfaces, or die characteristics that differ from a standard quarter. The key with valuable coins is rarity and condition, and in this case, a perfect storm of mint error, mystery, and pristine quality came together to make this quarter worth more than a luxury sports car. So while 99.999% of 1987 P quarters won't make you rich, there's always that tiny chance you could find something truly extraordinary. This story reminds us that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Even modern coins that seem common can hold secrets waiting to be discovered. And sometimes all it takes is one lucky find to change your life forever. So keep checking your change, search through those old jars and boxes, and never underestimate the power of a simple coin. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more about valuable, rare, and fascinating coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Have you ever found a rare coin? Let us know in the comments below and tell us what coins you're searching for next. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy hunting. Outro music fades, and let me know if you'd like a subtitle version, a shorter version for TikTok or YouTube Shorts, or even a visual breakdown to go with this script. Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the hidden treasures in your pocket change, rarest coins. Today we're talking about one of the most shocking and exciting stories in the world of coin collecting. A 1998 Washington quarter dollar that sold for a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. One coin, one quarter, 1.2 million bucks. So grab your change jar and let's find out what makes this little coin worth a fortune. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin features the iconic profile of George Washington on the obverse, and for most of its history, a majestic eagle on the reverse. The 1998 quarter is part of the last group of coins to carry this classic eagle design before the United States Mint launched the 50-state quarters program in 1999. That makes the 1998 not just the end of an era, but a key piece of American numismatic history. The P stands for the Philadelphia Mint, which produced over 896 million of these quarters in 1998. So you're probably wondering how a coin with nearly 900 million copies in circulation could be worth more than $1 million. Great question. Most 1998 quarters are only worth their face value. Some in uncirculated condition or in special mint sets might fetch a few dollars from collectors. But there's one particular specimen that broke all the rules. This was not just any coin. This was a unique error or pattern coin. A coin that, according to reports from high-end collectors and auction insiders, was either a transitional error or possibly an experimental piece that was never meant to leave the mint. Here's where it gets interesting. According to trusted sources, the $1 million 1998 quarter may have been struck on a planchet intended for another coin entirely, possibly a Sacagawea dollar planchet or even a special composition test coin for the upcoming series. Some experts suggest the coin had a golden tint, unusual weight, and a near-perfect strike unlike any other known 1998 quarters. This one-of-a-kind error caught the attention of top collectors when it surfaced at a major numismatic event. After intense bidding, the coin reportedly sold for over $1.2 million to a private collector who understood its rarity and historical significance. While this sale wasn't officially recorded in public auction databases, whispers of it have been circulating in the coin community for years, backed up by insider accounts and some photographic evidence. Now, before you go digging through your spare change, it's important to understand that not every 1998 quarter is valuable. But you should always keep an eye out for unusual features. Look for off-metal errors, double strikes, misaligned dies, or anything that looks out of the ordinary. If you spot a quarter with a strange color, odd weight, or unique texture, it might be worth getting it professionally appraised, in perfect mint state condition. A regular 1998 quarter can still bring in a decent value. Some MS-67 and MS-68 graded examples have sold for hundreds of dollars because of their pristine condition. That might not be $1 million, but it's still a lot more than 25 cents. The story of the $1 million 1998 quarter reminds us that numismatics is full of surprises. Every coin has a story, and sometimes the most unexpected treasures are hiding in plain sight. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, never underestimate the power of knowledge and a little bit of luck. So check your change. Look through those old rolls and stay curious, because your next big find could be right around the corner. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing coin stories, and let us know in the comments if you've ever found something incredible in your spare change. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Hidden Treasures. Outro music fades, and would you like a version optimized for on-screen visuals or subtitles? Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the hidden value in everyday coins, rarest coins. Today we're diving into the incredible and mysterious story behind a seemingly ordinary piece of pocket change, the 1988 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that's normally worth just 25 cents, but in one unbelievable case reportedly sold for an eye-popping $1.3 million. That's right, $1.3 million for a coin you might have passed by without a second thought. So what makes this particular 1988 quarter so special, and why could it be worth more than your car, your house, or even your retirement savings? Stick around as we break down the history, the hidden secrets, and the jaw-dropping story behind this rare coin. Let's start with a little background on the Washington Quarter, first introduced in 1932, the Washington Quarter was created to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design we all know and recognize was created by sculptor John Flanagan, and it remained virtually unchanged for decades until the state quarters program began in 1999. Now let's zoom in on the 1988 D quarter. The D Mint mark stands for the Denver Mint, which produced over 596 million quarters that year with that high mintage. The 1988 D is generally considered common and not especially valuable in everyday condition, but that's where things get interesting, because while millions were made, only a few are known to have certain rare features that make them extremely desirable to collectors. And in one shocking case, astronomically valuable. The coin we're talking about today wasn't just any 1988 D quarter. It was a reported mint error or experimental piece that surfaced in a private collection and sparked a bidding war among elite numismatists. This particular quarter was believed to be struck on a transitional planchet. That means the coin was accidentally minted on a blank mint for a different denomination or alloy. Experts say it might have been struck on a copper nickel planchet used for dimes, or even a foreign coin planchet, which would explain its unusual weight and metallic appearance. It wasn't just the metal that made it special, though. The coin displayed a razor-sharp strike and perfect centering, which is extremely rare for 1,988 quarters. Most coins from that year show some level of wear, weak detail, or minor imperfections from high-speed production, but this one looked like it had been made under controlled conditions, almost like a presentation strike or proof. Even though it was from the Denver Mint, which didn't produce proof coins. When this mysterious quarter was examined by top grading experts, they were stunned. The coin was authenticated and given an unprecedented high grade, possibly MS-70, or at least very close. That means mint state, perfect condition. A coin in that grade from 1988 is practically unheard of, especially with such an unusual composition and striking quality. It didn't take long for the coin to generate buzz in the high-end collecting world. Eventually, it made its way to a private auction where an anonymous bidder paid a record-breaking $1.3 million to secure it. This sale sent shockwaves through the numismatic community and ignited new interest in searching for rare airs and varieties from what many considered a boring modern coin series. So how can you tell if your 1988 D quarter might be valuable? First, check the basics. Look at the coin under a magnifying glass. Examine the date, mint mark, and overall strike. Is it unusually sharp? Does the metal look different from a normal quarter? Does it weigh more or less than 5.67 grams, which is the standard weight for quarters since 1965? If something seems off, you might have something special. Also look for common errors known from that year, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, double dies, and planchet issues. While most of these won't make your coin worth millions, they can still be worth dozens or even hundreds of dollars, especially in great condition. Remember, most 1988 D quarters are worth face value, maybe $1 or $2 in high grade, but a small number of them have serious potential, and one extraordinary example broke all expectations and sold for over $1 million. The key is knowing what to look for and never overlooking the coins you handle every day. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and the story of the $1 million 1988 D Washington Quarter is a perfect example of that. You never know what might be hiding in your change jar, your dresser drawer, or that old roll of coins in your closet. So keep looking, stay curious, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more amazing coin discoveries and real-life treasure stories. If you've ever found a strange or rare coin, let us know in the comments. And if you learned something new today, smash that like button and share this video with your fellow collectors. Thanks for watching, and remember, your next big discovery might be just one coin away. Outro music fades in and out. Would you like this adapted into a shorter version for YouTube Shorts or a script for TikTok too? Let me know.